Hi guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades and I'm here to get you started on Unit 22, Long U with OO. Please take a second to gather your materials. You will need this teal book open to page 137. You will also need some colorful pens, markers, or crayons. Remember, whatever I mark on my board, you should be marking on your page. Please save room for a key as well. All right, for several weeks now, we have been learning about long vowels. We learned that long A says A, E says E, I says I, O says O, and now we're ready to talk about long U. Long U can say oo or you. Today we're going to focus on the oo sound, and to make that oo sound, we're going to use OO. Now you have seen OO before, and you probably already know that OO has two sounds. Sometimes it says in words like look or good. But today we're focusing on the other sound, the oo sound that we see in words like food or pool. Okay, so if you take a quick look at our list, you'll notice they all have OO in the middle, and that OO says oo. All right, let's read our list. Please repeat after me. Bloom, booth, broom, droop, groom, school, scoop, smooth, spoon, tooth. Did you hear that long U, oo sound? Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do now is choose a color and either highlight or draw a box around the OO in each word. So there it is in bloom and booth, broom and droop, groom and school, scoop and smooth, spoon and tooth. Now notice that on this list, that OO is always tucked into the middle of a word. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are a few words, like to, where the OO shows up at the end of the word. There are also a few examples, words like oodles, like I have oodles of money, oodles of cash, where the OO shows up at the beginning. So you will sometimes see OO at the end or the beginning, but most of the time that OO shows up in the middle of a word. So over here, blue box equals OO vowel team, and that OO vowel team will make a long U sound. Okay, what I would like to do next is spend just a few minutes reviewing our blends. I know we haven't talked about these in a while, but there are three main blends that we use in the English language. We have a lot of words that contain an L blend, which means they start with SL or PL or CL or FL. So if we do a quick look here, I see an L blend right here in bloom. See how the B and the L blend together? So over here, I'm going to say purple box equals L blend. Okay? We also have some R blends. Those are tricky for a lot of kids because they don't always hear the sounds correctly. But here's one of them. BR makes a br sound in broom. DR makes a dr sound in droop. And GR makes a gr sound in groom. Okay, I think that's all we have. Of course, there are other R blends like TR, which says tr, and PR, which says pr. So over here, anything in green is an R blend. Okay, do you know the third kind of blend that shows up a lot? Lots of L blends at the beginning of a word, lots of R blends, and then the last one is S blends. Okay, so the SC in scoop, very common. But check this one. The SCH in school. That's not very common in our language. Most of the time when we see CH in a word, it's going to say ch, as in cheese or chocolate. But there are exceptions. Every once in a while, we will find a word that has CH, and that CH is hard. It's making a k sound. Some of the examples would be echo, like I could hear my voice echo in the cave. Or maybe some of you would like to join a chorus sometime. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that CH every once in a while can make a k sound. Okay, so we have SCH, SC, SM, and SP. All of those are S blends. It's a blend and not a digraph because the S and the letter coming after it keep their own sound. Okay. Another thing I want to remind you about, and again, this is review, we talked about this a long time ago, is that we have some digraphs on our list this week. When we put two consonants together and they create a new sound, that's a digraph. So when I put T and H together, it doesn't say t, it says v, okay? So I'm going to put a box around the TH in booth, the TH in tooth, and the TH in smooth. Now, did you notice something interesting there? When I pronounced booth and tooth, my mouth looked the same, right? I was sticking out my tongue. Booth and tooth. When I pronounced smooth, I looked the same. I was still sticking out my tongue, but my voice was on. It turns out there are two ways to pronounce TH. We can pronounce it with our voice on in words like this or that or smooth. And we can pronounce it with our voice off in words like thin or thick or booth. Interesting, right? So, orange box equals TH digraph. Okay, what I want to do now is I want to go through the list with you, and quickly, as we talk about the meaning of each word, I want to label the part of speech. So, let's start with nouns, people, places, things, okay? A bloom is a noun, right? She brought me a beautiful bloom, a beautiful flower. A booth is a noun, right? You might, if you're going to the fair, you might have to pick up tickets at the ticket booth first. So a booth is like a tiny room or a stand. Okay? A broom is a noun. That's what we use to sweep our floors. A groom is a noun, right? When a man and a wife get married, the bride is the woman, the groom is the man. A school is a noun. That's where we learn. A scoop can be a noun. You can get 1 scoop of ice cream or 2 scoops of ice cream. A spoon is a noun. And a tooth is a noun. All right, so this week we have lots of examples of nouns, people, places, or things. Let's look for verbs now. Remember, those are our action words. Well, I told you that a bloom is a noun, but it's also a verb, right? The flowers bloom in the spring, right? My garden looks so beautiful when all the flowers bloom. It means they open up and come to life. You can't booth and you can't broom. You can droop, though, right? If you forget to water your plants, they will start to droop. It's like sagging, right? Sometimes our shoulders droop when we're feeling sad. Groom, I told you a groom is a person. It's a man who gets married. But there's another meaning that's a verb. So to groom your dog means to make him look nice, to give him a bath and a haircut and clip his nails, right? You bring your dog to the groomer and he or she grooms your dog. Scoop, yes, it's a thing, but it's also a verb, right? You scoop ice cream into a bowl. Smooth can be used as a verb, right? You might smooth out your hair or smooth out the wrinkles. Spoon, you can use that as a verb. You can spoon some sugar or spoon some more cocoa into your hot chocolate, but you can't tooth. So down here, the V represents the verb. And the last part of speech I want to talk about is adjectives. Do you remember those? Those are describing words, right? So you can't be very bloom, very booth, very broom, very droop, or very groom. You can't be very school or very scoop, but something can be smooth, right? When you put lotion on your hands, that makes your skin smooth, right? It's the opposite of rough or bumpy. So I think smooth is actually our only adjective this week. Okay, so that's all our vocabulary. Just very quickly, when you get to page 140, you've done this before. You take some of your verbs and you change the tenses. So you can take a word like scoop and change it to scoops, scooping, and scooped. You could take a word like bloom and change it to blooms, blooming, and bloomed. You guys will be fine with that. There's nothing tricky this week. When you get to the bottom, though, I want you to notice that we have lots of compound words. Remember, compound words are two smaller words glued together. So for instance, I can have a tooth, or I can have a toothbrush. One word, toothbrush, right? Take two little words, glue them together. I can have a school, or I can have a school bus. Two words glued together to make one word. So you will see more examples of that when you get to page 140. All right, that's all I have for you. Good luck, and I will see you.